Police-related deaths during states of emergency are a sign of systemic issues. President of the Trinbago Unified Calypsonians Organization, Ainsley King, says Calypso is not just alive but soaring, as evidence from renewed public support. He was speaking at the announcement of the 40 semi-finalists for the Senior National Calypso Monarch competition and the 15 finalists for the National Junior Calypso Monarch.
We are also seeing the interest from artists of different genre. We are seeing an increase where artists are coming to work with us in the tent. So it's clear that where Calypso is concerned, 2026, we can clearly declare that Calypso is back. Calypso is alive.
Those were your 6 a.m. news headlines. We'll have another news update at the top of the hour right here on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network.
Morning Brew is brought to you by Omega XL. Live long, stay strong.
Are you ready? No.
I'm actually morning Trinidad and Tobago. Looking for ingredients here to put a little something in place for the Morning Brew team. Can't find any, but nonetheless, let's get the ball rolling as we start things off. So many people are, I would imagine, a little bit sleepy from the PAN experience yesterday, and for those who did not go, well, I know you are energized and ready. It's lots to treat with this morning. By all means, we go through the front page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. As I'm losing my way. Let's step out of Studio B into Studio A. So we are going to also this morning not only treat with some of the happenings of the weekend inside the carnival space, but there's some major discussions via the Zozo, the failed Zozo bill, and we'll get some calls in. So sit back, relax. There's lots to uncover, lots to unpack on this Monday morning, the first Monday of February. We're already in the second month of 2026. See you soon. It's about that time to get into the Morning Brew. Encore. That's right, Marshall Montano waxing warm for Carnival 2026. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome. Jason Williams signing on. I'm here with you until 8 a.m. Lots to treat with this morning. Let me say a special hello to the Canto, our team in the country, all the ICT professionals and media and communication specialists from across the entire region gathering at the Hyatt Regency. The opening was yesterday. They continue with the action today and tomorrow to treat with policy and to discuss important matters as it pertains to us, the people who enjoy all the technology and the communication apparatus. So I'll be treating with that later on today. Good morning to the Canto team. Have yourselves a great one today. Let's see what's happening. So much to unpack. It was an action-packed weekend. The first, I would safely say, was like a bumper weekend. So much took place and everyone had themselves a great time. And we're coming out of the heels of the PAN semis yesterday. North Stand, the Greens, the Grandstand. A sight to behold. Well done to all the amazing steel orchestras, the men and women and boys and girls who spend countless hours practicing into the wee hours of the morning to put on a performance that we embrace and we enjoy. The majesty of our national instrument, the steel pan, on display yesterday for the semis. I know many, as we say in local terms, your head pung up. Because people was beating it, you know, you go there, you have a time, you have your cooler, you have your friends, and that's just the essence of the PAN semis celebration. So for all who went down, whether you were on the track or in the savannah itself, Thank you so much. It was a successful one. Let's see what's happening. Lots to unpack. Trinidad and Tobago Guardian today, Friday, of course, Friday, the 2nd of February. And we're looking at a protest that happened yesterday. So much so, the Rad Squad, I mean, what are Rad Squad coming out for? I'm trying to figure out. I mean, this is unnecessary. Obviously, the state of emergency is over. Folks have a right to go out and let their voices be heard. I don't think anybody was pelting big stone or egg or looking to mash up people. I mean, you could look at the audience as uncles and aunties there. Nobody there looking to cause any kind of rabs. I mean, obviously, people are upset. If you notice, I have not really put forward any major commentary on that police-involved shooting. It's a most unfortunate scenario, and I would, unlike the commissioner, allow the investigation to take place. I wasn't there. We saw what we saw, but I'm sure there are layers to unpack, and let the investigation take its course. I don't try to prejudice any sensitive scenario, but again, the sign says stop police brutality, and it's just one of those sad moments because I know within my heart, because I know many officers and I interact with many officers, and I firsthand see the level of professionalism and the fact that many try their best. But when the few, I mean, when the officers go beyond the boundary and you see this kind of action, it derails all the goodwill and the amazing work that would have been done. And I really hope there's a thorough investigation, there is a comprehensive investigation, and if indeed someone or people are to be held responsible, let's set that particular example. And as you can see via the footage, let's put it up one more time there, Sheldon. You saw the passion. The young lady who was speaking there, she is a friend. She's a friend of the young lady who was injured. We're hearing she might be partially paralyzed. That's tough. That's a real tough one. And of course, the young man is no more. So that's Joshua. You know, he's deceased. So again, a very sensitive matter. And people going out to let their voices be heard. And they're calling for the top cop to step aside. I doubt it's going to happen. But I think he needs to be a little more measured, in all honesty, when it comes to language. I always say no comment is a comment. You know, sometimes you see politicians and folks walking off and people get upset, but you know what, if you have nothing to say, if you don't know all the details, best you just walk. And when you're furnished with all the relevant information, then you could speak from a place of authority. You really can't speak on a matter when you don't know the full details. All right, so obviously, cop under pressure, that's the front page here. Protesters call for the head, the commissioner's head. Well, not literally, it's his job actually. It's not medieval times. Medieval times when they call for your head, they call for your head, eh? Thank God we don't live in those times anymore. Mixed reactions to Prime Minister's SOE warning. That's on page 6. In essence, the Prime Minister is suggesting that she could use her powers to bring forward another state of emergency if things go downhill. I mean, I don't know why there is this anticipation of a uptick in crime and criminality, seeing that the SOE is over. Even during the SOE, there would have been disturbances, there would have been incidents. I think we have to treat with this from the core level, and that's a deeper conversation. We need more time when we consider community activations and programs and just systems in place to keep the young people active and to tap into their creativity and to keep them from just being idle and sitting down, scratching their gonads and doing nothing when the day comes around. That is where the soil is fertile for wrongdoing, and the place is ripe for people to do action that's less than complimentary. Well, of course, Sweet Pan vibes, back to that front page, as mentioned. North Stand, Grandstand, the track yesterday, the greens, oh boy, what a time. What a time. And we just stand by now to hear who's going to be in the finals come Carnival Saturday. Well, we go back now to the, sport page, back page, and when we consider what happened there, it's a defensive nightmare as the under-17 women were outplayed. El Salvador gave us a 7-0 beating. That is, again, a hard lesson, a hard pill to swallow when you're on the receiving end of such one-sided result. There is lots to learn. Yes, you go in the post-game analysis disappointed, dejected, but you promise yourself, I hope the girls promise themselves never to go through this again. and they're able to toughen up the defensive structure. Clearly, the offense also needs work because we didn't even score one goal. Really unfortunate there. And some action from La Liga, where Real Madrid continue their winning ways, very close there. That Real Barcelona 1-2. It's clearly going to go down to the wire in La Liga, and a great weekend for all Arsenal supporters. We're still holding on, holding faith that this year could indeed be our year. We are 6 points clear. A draw with Man City over the weekend, and Aston Villa, who's also close by, would have lost. So we're looking okay. All Gunners fans, let's hold this train. We'll only celebrate when we get over the line. We head to the brief on this Monday morning. And again, more action from the carnival. Tuco president says Calypso alive and striving. So that's great news. And making mass. That's right, members of the mass band there down south are looking to, literally making it by hand. This is no, you send a design to the east and it comes in a shipping container. They're making the mass, bending the wire. And to all those who continue that tradition, we say thank you. Before we head to the boss report, let's see what's happening via our Carnival Roundup, our Carnival page inside the greatest show on earth, Yuma's Road to Stage Glow Jam. Good morning to the Yuma team. Definitely a powerhouse, a proven and tested team, and well, as I say, powerhouse on the road. So everybody looks quite happy. There's wine and jam. People having a time. Well done. Good morning to the Yuma team and to all those heading out, whether you went out this weekend, you plan to jump out this weekend coming up. There's lots to do, and there's something for everyone within the carnival space, whether you're into the traditional side of it, whether you're into the all-inclusive product, the cooler fete, you name it, there's something for everyone. Enjoy, and let's have ourselves a safe Carnival 2026. Up next, the boss report. Saruj checks in. Yes, we have to, as always, get in touch and find out what's happening with the big movers and shakers. The boss report with Saruj up next.
I say I'm done with competition, I am finished with the road. My carnival show is on a different episode.
From office hours straight to carnival vibes. This carnival, get 20% off frames and free polarized sunglasses when you purchase complete eyewear at Value Optical. Mass ready, sun ready from Juve to Lasla. Conditions apply. Offer available until February 15th. Value Optical, expert care for your eyes.
You are cordially invited.
Art form is only one I have.
Art Form, The Invitation, a special night with Nadia Batson and all the biggest names in soca. February 7th at Queen's Hall Garden from 5 p.m. to 12 midnight.
This is a personal invitation to you. One night, just you, me, and the art form. I'm working on something, baby. Just promise don't bring it back in pieces.
Accept the invitation. Tickets available at Terminal 4 Long Circular Mall, Digicel C3 Center, Eastgate and Independence Square, fax, Arima, and online at islandetickets.com. This is your invitation. 111 R4.
Slam on 00.5 FM in collaboration with Flavor Village presents the Iceland Festival Finale this Wednesday, 4th February. We're moving off the avenue and into the Flavor Village at the Queen's Park Savannah. One night, 4 flavors of soca, 6 hours of music from 6 p.m. to midnight, including Young Brother, Lady Lava, Nadia Batson, Boys, Freetown Collective, plus many other surprises. No invitation necessary. Free entry. No coolers allowed. Experience Rude Boy 2-for-1 specials and drink Rude officially.
She love the roti, she love the choker, she love the bygone. You ever jump in a car after a fete knowing that the driver more tipsy than you? Yeah, you make it home, but not everybody lucky like you. No, we're not taking that chance in Carnival 2026, alright? We're making better choices. Choose a designated driver or book a ride. Remember, Better choices, safer carnival. I could pick mango, I could pick guava, I could pick tamarind. We making better choices, so designate a driver. Follow Roti, she love the choker, she love the bygone.
Flambon 00.5 FM in collaboration with Flavor Village presents the Iceland Festival Finale this Wednesday, 4th February. We're moving off the avenue and into the Flavor Village at the Queen's Park Savannah. One night, 4 flavors of soca, 6 hours of music from 6 p.m. to midnight, including Young Brother, Lady Lava, Nadia Batson, Boys, Freetown Collective, plus many other surprises. No invitation necessary. Free entry. No coolers allowed. Experience Rude Boy 2-for-1 specials and drink Rude officially.
Popping like the stars on TV, bro. Turn up the heat till they start to beg for praise.
As we get into the first hour, let me just give you some programming details. We'll touch base with former Minister of National Security, Marvin Gonzalez. He will join us later on this morning. But before we treat with that conversation, let's check in with Sarud for the Boss Report. We hear about the movers and shakers when it comes to big business. Even though it's Carnival, Sarud business is still going on, and that's why you're here to give us the details. Good morning, Sarud. Great to see you.
Good morning, GW, and good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and welcome to the Boss Report. Well, yes, it's Carnival, and we may be jumping up, but our money is also jumping up, and we have to keep an eye on it. So today we're taking a look at some financial results of two local gigantic groups. We're talking, of course, about First Citizens Financial Group Holdings as well as Massey Holdings Limited for their respective fiscal year-ends or annual year-ends ended 2025, September 2025. Now, both groups would have reported improved earnings over their fiscal annual periods. Let's take a look at how they would have performed and what investors might expect in the coming months ahead. Turning firstly to FCGFH, or First, well, the group would have reported an earnings per share figure of $3.93 per share, which was a 3.7% improvement from the $3.79 reported in that prior comparable period of fiscal 2024. Now, driving that performance was a modest increase in net interest income, up 1.8% from $2.06 billion to just about $2.1 billion. Total net revenues increased 5.1% from $2.7 billion to just about $2.87 billion. Operating profits up a very commendable 8% from $1.23 billion to just about $1.33 billion. And profit after taxes improving that 3.4% from just under $957 million to just about $990 million TT dollars. So certainly good reading for FCG or First investors, fairly resilient in what can be described as a very dynamic banking market. When we look at First Citizens profit before tax by segment, we can see that there were some notable changes, most notably a 53% increase in their retail banking segment, PBT, increasing from $293 million to just about $450 million in that bluish segment. We can see corporate banking over the decline just about 16 to 17% from $762 million to just about $635 million there in that greenish segment. And treasury and investment banking also declined from $617 million to just about $596 million, with a small decline as well in trustee and asset management profit before tax contribution from $59 to $56 million. When we take a look at asset composition and the trends of First Citizens' balance sheet on a consolidated basis, we can see that there has been consistent and notable growth since fiscal 2023, moving from about $45 billion in total to just over $49 billion in the most recently concluded fiscal period. Most notably, we can see that loans to customers would have grown significantly year over year from $21.2 billion in that purple segment to $23.8 billion, a roughly 12% odd increase. Over the comparable years, there were not many significant changes otherwise in terms of investments, hovering around that $16 billion mark, and cash and cash resources at around that $7 to $7.7 billion figure. Now, from a valuation perspective and a cash flow perspective for investors, it seems like banking stocks are the place to be for equity investors, with the sector average investment yield at around 5.2%. First Citizens offering actually the highest dividend yield across the banking sector at 6.4%, and of course offering investors quarterly dividends, which is quite an attractive proposition to income-oriented investors. So at that price of $39, First Citizens is trading at that price-to-earnings ratio of about 9.9 times, which is slightly above the sector average of 9.3 times, and again offering a fairly generous dividend yield of 6.4% compared to that sector average of about 5.2%. So with that resilient revenue growth in mind, improving earnings, what can be described objectively as an attractive dividend yield, but keeping an eye on certain market uncertainties, of course, with the new proposed asset levy coming into force and how that could impact earnings and cash flows over the next coming quarters, versus maintaining an overweight rating on First Citizens for the time being with a watch outlook. Turning very quickly to Massey, for its fiscal period ended September 2025, the group would have reported earnings per share of 36.5 cents, which was a 9.3% increase from the 33.4 cents per share recorded in that prior comparable period. Now, interestingly, EPS from continuing operations would have increased a whopping 14.2% from 31.5 cents in that prior comparable period to just under 36 cents in the most recently concluded period. Driving this performance was revenue from continuing operations up 3.1% from 15.3 billion to 15.8 billion, with operating profits after finance costs improving 10.1% rather from 1.2 billion to just about $1.34 billion. Ultimately, profits attributable to equity holders improved at 9.3% from 660 to $722 million. When we look at profit before tax contributions by segment for Massey over the comparable periods, well, modest growth. We can see integrated retail would have grown in terms of PBT contributions just about 4% from 662 to 689 million year over year. Gas products actually up 8% from 356 million to just about 385 million. This was partially offset by some declines in the motors and machines and financial services segment. Motors and machines falling about 18% from 228 to 186 million, with financial services declining just about 9% from 75 million to 68 million. So a mixed bag in terms of segment performance, but overall, Massey's PBT continued to grow. And when we take a look, importantly, at Massey's geographical composition, we can see some also very important trends for investors who are looking for built-in diversification in terms of regional exposure and regional market concentration. We can see, for example, Trinidad and Tobago in fiscal 2022 accounted for about 46% of Massey's profit before tax. That has gradually come down to about 34%, whereas Guyana, for example, have grown from 22% in fiscal 2022 to about 27% in fiscal 2025, with some increase also in the Barbados and Eastern Caribbean segment from 20% in fiscal 2022 to 24% in the most recently concluded period of 2025. So again, the key takeaway here for investors is that regional and market diversification continues to grow, and importantly, in what can be considered hard currency generating jurisdictions. So at a price of $3.32 per share, Massey is trading at a price-to-earnings ratio of 9.1 times, which is below the sector average of 11 times, and offers investors fairly attractive dividend yield of about 5.3%, which compares favorably to that sector average of the conglomerates of about 4.1%. So with that modest revenue growth in mind, higher profit margins, continued geographical diversification, but of course some market and policy uncertainties, again, related to some fiscal policies which may take force in the Trinidad and Tobago jurisdiction, which could impact consumer demand, versus maintaining a market weight rating on Massey for the time being with a watch outlook. But that's it for this week's edition. For more information, you can give us a call at 226-8773. or email us at info@borsfinancial.com. And of course, you can check out our website, borsinvestment.com, where all of our research is absolutely free. And you can catch this article in today's business section of the Trinidad and Tobago of Trinidad Guardian newspaper. So until next time, stay safe, happy investing, enjoy your carnival, and we'll see you again on the Bors Report.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800 TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800 TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry, premier insurance coverage for less.
When the carnival pace pick up, Royal Castle is the most tasty and convenient stop.
Welcome to Royal Castle's drive-thru.
Whether we heading to the beach with chicken buckets and sides, having a house line with all the combos and sandwiches, or we stop by the castle to eat before the fete. Royal Castle local flavor is always part of the carnival.
Low energy? Heart concerns? Migraines slowing you down? It's time to take control of your health. Join Wellness Unlocked, the series that brings expert advice and real solutions for a healthier you. In our latest episode, learn how Jameson CoQ10 can help support heart health, boost energy, and even reduce migraines. Get the science, the stories, and the steps to power up your health with CoQ10. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on CNC3 and start your wellness journey today.
Vibes and Soca Cooler Cruise is back. Vibe City 105 FM and Team Undrunkables is bringing you the ultimate soca party experience on Carnival Wednesday, February the 11th, aboard the iconic Harbour Master. Boarding at 8 p.m. and sailing at 9 p.m. Tickets are just $250 and are available at all cachet outlets, Guardian Media offices, Port of Spain and South Park, and online at islandetickets.com.
Walter and I are very worried about you. Well, I just had to get away from all that chaos. By going back there to Sully's, it's a mistake. Then it's my mistake to make. I didn't believe it when I heard you were back.
That woman over there, she seems awful full of herself. You know her?
You might say that. How long are you planning on staying this time?
Not sure, Dad.
Of Carnival 2026. Again, good morning to the full-blown team. Keep up the tremendous work. I love the consistency, and this is when everybody's lapping up. Tongue in a party, yes. That's right. So we're going to move away from the music and get into the serious discussions of the day. We welcome to the program Member of Parliament and former Minister of National Security. Also, he would have had the public utilities portfolio during his tenure. Marvin Gonzalez, of course, making some time out of the carnival schedule to treat with the issues of the day. Marvin, great to see you. Welcome again.
Good morning, Jason. It's always a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Of course, and there is so much to discuss. And
quite a lot.
Obviously, you know, I
hope I have an hour.
Well, yeah, we have time. We could go till definitely 7 o'clock. But I'll tell you, I saw a development yesterday, and I want to get your perspective, seeing that this is fresh, hot off the press. We're going to put the image up where folks went out to let their voices be heard. The SOE is over, so people could gather now and express themselves. But I'm seeing the riot squad coming to, I guess, give them a little checks and balance, as it will. What's your take when you saw this particular footage and development yesterday, especially the riot squad coming out to engage the protesters?
This was quite a very disproportionate response to a small gathering on St. Vincent Street, Abercrombie Street, in front of the Parliament building, where citizens came out to express their views and their concerns about a serious national development. I observed the gathering based on footage on social media and in the national media, and they were a very small group, unarmed, not aggressive, just simply expressing their legitimate concerns about a very serious matter. The response from the TTPS, as far as I am concerned, is very disproportionate, and it sends the wrong signal. Because first and foremost, the group was not committing any criminal offense. It was a simple gathering where the group was expressing their concerns. And when you send that kind of military response, It sends the wrong signal. It can be interpreted as intimidation on the part of the state. It can be interpreted as the state using its military might to suppress the voices of the people and to suppress dissent. The group was not engaged in any illegal activity. There was no threat to any public building or to any persons gathered in the area. There was simply no threat to national security. And the response by the TTPS, I believe, was very unfortunate, and it sends a very dangerous signal.
I mean, you carry experience both as on the ministerial side and also a former member of the TTPS. In what or under what circumstance would a riot squad really be called out?
You will call in the riot squad if there is a threat to public safety or to national security. As I'm saying, if there is a potential threat to members of the public, if there is a potential threat to state institutions, etc., then you call the riot squad or you call out armed police officers to ensure that there is a preservation of law and order. And what we saw on social media and in the media with a small group gathering to express their concerns about a serious national matter, the response by sending armed group of police officers, the riot squad, in the circumstances, I think it was very disproportionate and it was uncalled for. Because nothing illegal was taking place at that point in time.
What's your advice to the citizenry pertaining to their response if the riot squad coming out when people gather becomes the new normal? If indeed that trend we saw yesterday continues, what's the recourse for us, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, first and foremost, I think citizens need to understand that they ought not to be intimidated by any threatened use of force to suppress dissent on the part of the population. It is right, it is their constitutional right to express themselves, especially against what is taking place in the national community. It must be done within the confines of the law. It must be done without the threat to social instability or national security. And if there continues to be the threatened use of force by state agencies to suppress dissent, then I think attorneys and the practitioners of law in our society need to look at this seriously and to bring the appropriate matter before a court of competent jurisdiction to ensure that citizens' constitutional rights are protected. But most importantly, my advice to citizens is that they ought not to be intimidated. However, they ought not to pose any threat to national security, the agencies of the state, to security officers, and to good law and order.
MP Gonzalez, let me, before we get into the ZOSO and the fact that that bill was struck down in the Parliament, we consider the state of emergency, which came to an end last day of, obviously, January, which would have been Saturday. Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing the Prime Minister here and a couple of different legal minds weighing in. It's on page 6, and I'll go to the quote. She says here that, the state of emergency, the declaration, more or less, could be reinstalled if criminals don't behave themselves. If indeed there's an uptick, there is this anticipation or this belief there might be an uptick of crime and criminality, and if indeed that is the order of the day, we can go back to a state of emergency. What's your take on that particular development and the state of emergency being used as a tool to keep the place calm? Because during the PNM tenure, the state of emergency was also issued.
Once.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the basis really? Because my thing is I'm trying to figure out if the state of emergency being used so much, if it would lose its sting, mm-hmm. as it were. But your take on the Prime Minister's utterance.
Jason, I want to thank you very much for that question, because let me take you back to when the state of emergency was called and when it was extended in the Parliament. Days before the calling of the state of emergency, the Minister of Homeland Security was on record in saying that crime was not out of control. The police commissioner is on record in saying that crime was not out of control, a couple of days before the calling of the state of emergency. When the state of emergency was called, the first public official to speak to the people of Trinidad and Tobago was the Commissioner of Police. And the Commissioner of Police told the country that this state of emergency was called to respond to a particular threat by actors within the prison who were threatening named public officials. The Commissioner of Police went out of his way when questioned by the media as to whether or not this state of emergency was called to control crime or in response to crime. And he made it abundantly clear that this state of emergency had nothing to do with the crime situation in the country. And the state of emergency was called to treat with a particular threat. The Attorney General spoke to us mere hours after the police commissioner spoke, and the Attorney General, mere hours after the commissioner spoke, said that it was already a success because the threat was neutralized. Interestingly, days after government officials were in CPL and in other activities, taking selfies and what have you, even though they claim that it was a threat against some named public officials. Our Independence Parade was cancelled, etc. You will recall all of that. When the state of emergency was, it came to an end and the government went to the parliament to extend it. And the government started using the murder rate, the dip in the murder rate as justification, and the dip in serious crimes as justification for the state of emergency. I reminded the country, and I read from the president's proclamation, that this state of emergency was called to treat with a particular threat and had nothing to do with the crime situation in the country, and that the Attorney General and the Prime Minister needed to account to the population what is the status of this threat, whether persons were arrested, what is the status of the investigation, where are we going with this particular threat. Today, this state of emergency came to an end, and this government didn't have the respect for the people of this country as to what is the status of the investigations with respect to those persons that they claim were a specific threat and posed a specific threat and had nothing to do, the state of emergency, with the curtailment of crime and criminality in Trinidad and Tobago. So when the Prime Minister could come today and threaten members and the citizens of this country that if they don't, quote unquote, behave themselves, she will call another state of emergency, it confirmed what the PNM has always been saying, that this state of emergency was never called to deal with any particular threat against certain state officials. It was the government's response. It was actually the government's crime plan. They went all out of their way to deny that. And it came down to the end where the Prime Minister is saying she will call another state of emergency if people don't behave themselves. I am telling you here this morning that based on the utterances of the Prime Minister, based on the fact that the Attorney General and the Prime Minister refuse and or fail to give us an update on the so-called threat that they claim was the reason for the state of emergency, the people of Trinidad and Tobago had to understand that this government lied to them in the very first place when the state of emergency was called. There was absolutely nothing to do with any threat because the Prime Minister in her recent utterances threatening another state of emergency has confirmed that the state of emergency was called to treat with what they believe was a crime situation, and they have absolutely no other plan to deal with this crime situation in this country.
Well, I would imagine part of their plan, obviously, to treat with crime and criminality was to create these zones of special operations, a transition from the end of the state of emergency. Obviously, it went to the Parliament, the lower house, and then the upper house. It crashed more or less there in the upper house. What you thought, based on the arguments to and fro, would have been the biggest hindrance really that caused this particular ZOSO bill to collapse? Because I would imagine the government needs to put some kind of plan in place. There needs to be some kind of action. I guess the ZOSO was the solution, but it's clearly not going to happen. But based on the arguments and the amendments and all that was put forward, what do you thought was the biggest factor that caused this ZOSO bill to fall flat?
The stubbornness and the disrespect by the Attorney General and the Prime Minister and the rest of the government. I tell you this ZOSO bill is very, very, the implication of the implementation of a ZOSO in this country was very, very serious. The implication of this was very serious. As legislators, we got notification of that bill 3 days before the sitting of the Parliament. 3 days. Jason, you could imagine that a bill of such nature, the government refused and or failed to communicate with key stakeholders. The government did not collaborate with the judiciary, with the law association, with people, the representatives of the people, with councillors, and with all of these social interest groups in the society. A bill of such constitutional significance that the government will lay in Parliament, and 3 days we were called to debate this bill. Jason, on that Friday, I'm telling the people of this country, there were 3 bills on the agenda to be debated. The first bill was the motor vehicle and road traffic bill that saw the increase in traffic fines by over 95% and in some cases over 100%. That was the first bill. The second bill, Jason, was an amendment to the THA Act. And the third bill was the ZOSO. We started Parliament at 1:30 and we ended Parliament at 3:45 on a Saturday morning, where we debated 3 consequential bills. 3 consequential bills. The ZOSO bill was the last. We started debating the ZOSO bill at 11 p.m. The government only came prepared to put in 2 speakers, and we told the government, I told the leader of government business, that this bill is very consequential and a lot of our speakers are prepared to speak on this bill because of the nature. At 3:30, the Deputy Speaker called upon the Attorney General to wrap up the debate when they knew that the opposition had more speakers to speak on this bill and the implications of this bill in Trinidad and Tobago. MP Colm Imbert was on his leg, and the Deputy Speaker ignored him and called upon the Attorney General to wrap up the debate. A bill of such nature that are going to impact the citizens in the way that it proposed to, a bill that is going to give the Prime Minister the power to lock down communities for 180 days without parliamentary scrutiny. That is your conduct in the Parliament. And before, when it was passed, they used their constitutional majority, railroaded the bill through the House of Representatives, and the bill on its way to the Senate, the Prime Minister had one of the most stinging allegations and criticism against independent senators, calling them bootlickers and presidential appointments, and they are all aligned to the PNM and what have you. They went to the Senate. They debated that bill for 4 days in the Senate. The independent senators put forward recommendations to improve the bill. The opposition put forward recommendations to improve the bill, and not one of the recommendations was adhered to. A bill that needed your opponents, 4 of them on the other side, to support, and that is your conduct.
So let me confirm, you were willing to support the bill if it was proportional?
Of course.
If it was fair.
And that is what we were saying. We told the Prime Minister and the Attorney General in the lower house that there are some serious constitutional concerns with this bill, and that we are prepared to work with the government to improve some of the issues that we are seeing, and that the Prime Minister ought not to have any power to declare a zone of special operations, which we call a zone of suppression and oppression, and without parliamentary approval, and that the Prime Minister has no role whatsoever in law enforcement. That is the sole domain of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. We expressed those concerns, but the government came to the lower house not prepared to listen to the concerns of the opposition. In the Senate, we had the opportunity, because the debate was prolonged for 4 days, and we had the opportunity to put forward recommendations to improve the bill. We did so together with the independents. Not one of these recommendations were adhered to or adopted.
You know, I want to ask you, and seeing that you're here and that you're in Parliament there, you see, you hear what's happening. Obviously there's Parliament channel, but there's sometimes certain utterances or the little nuance and moments that the camera might not capture. We have always known in a political scenario on the divide there will be banter, there will be crosstalk, but we find ourselves in a time in where it seems the temperature is very heated, it's very intense. Have you seen a particular change? I mean, you've been there now, going on? This is my seventh year in the Parliament. Many from the outside looking in, we ask ourselves, what's happening in Parliament? You know, the banter, the tension, the venom that many look at and see and feel. What's the source of all of this, and could we see a change in parliamentary conduct? And this is across the both sides of the divide, but more so I'm seeing in all fairness, on the government side, they really, I guess you think it's a scenario where they would have been on the receiving end of banter for a while, and now that they're on top, it's almost like, well, I'm on top now, so I'll licks them. I wonder if that's kind of like part of what's going on. Is this all theater? Do you all actually in the tea room?
No. It is not theater.
So it's real?
I can tell you it's not theater. The venom is real. And as a member of Parliament, it is very embarrassing. I am very respectable to my colleagues on the other side. I will give them political blows when I'm on my legs. And I will do so without disrespecting any one of them. And I dare ask any one of them on the other side if I ever hurl any insults against them or disrespect them. And the PNM side has always tried to be very respectable. But there's a certain level of hatred you see coming from some members on the other side. The Attorney General is not an elected member of the House. He's a senator. But he comes to the House because he's the Attorney General to pilot bills and what have you. The commentary, the disgusting remarks you would hear coming from this gentleman is very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. He's a senior counsel, and you expect a senior counsel to conduct themselves with a certain level of decorum and a certain level of dignity. And the commentary that you would hear coming from some of them, including him, is very, very unfortunate. And it lends itself to a very toxic environment. When a prime minister could look at the opposition leader, and a leader of the opposition asks the prime minister a legitimate question about who is the attorney that would have advised the government on a very serious international issue, and the prime minister stood and told the leader of the opposition, go and ask your small pin lawyer, pointing to MP Stuart Young. It tells you everything that you need to know as to what is taking place inside of there. Because if the head of government could conduct herself in such a manner, what would you leave for the Attorney General? What would you leave for other ministers and other MPs? We are not perfect. I'm not saying that the PNM bench is perfect. But never did I see or witness the leader of the opposition casting insults at members on the other side. I never heard Penny Beckles saying nasty things to members on the other side. And never would she encourage any one of us on the PNM bench to conduct themselves in such a manner. I'm not saying that we are perfect. There are times when we allow the government, some members of my bench allow members of the government to get under their skin, creating an aggressive kind of response. I always try my best not to allow them to get under my skin. But the behavior, the calling of names like hooligans and what have you, by members of the government and members of the opposition, it is an embarrassment, and it is not the manner in which public officials should conduct themselves.
I mean, it's unfortunate because the children are looking on, and if indeed the political landscape is landscape is going on a slippery slope, my question is, how do we change that culture? What's going to be the new ethos for especially those coming in? Because for the youngsters coming in, they might feel that is the norm. And that's the way to conduct themselves, and to be loud and boisterous and to be disrespectful. How do we change it? How do we force that?
For me personally, Jason, it starts with me. And if every member of parliament of goodwill could make the effort to conduct themselves with dignity and decorum, then eventually it is going to spread across the parliamentary landscape, and it will set the right tone for the population. But at the end of the day, every member of parliament should commit themselves to conducting themselves in an appropriate manner. Despite what might happen and what might be said about us on the other side, the insults and what have you, we as individuals need to understand that we have a serious role in the society, that children are looking at us, that members of the public, that we are responsible for setting the appropriate tone in the national community. And if we allow our guards to drop, and we bring down ourselves and our esteem in the minds of the population, then we are undermining the dignity and the sanctity of the parliament as an institution, and we set the wrong tone in the national conversation.
Final question to you, MP Gonzalez. As you speak to your constituents, as you keep your ears to the ground, what's the biggest concern you're hearing from citizens when they come up to you and speak, and what do you plan to do when lifting your voice to, I would imagine, be that voice for the voiceless to obviously push that particular agenda? Is it crime? Is it the cost of living? What seems to be the biggest concern from your conversation with citizens?
Whenever I go to my constituency, and constituents come into your office, or you go out into the communities, the biggest concern is unemployment and the inability of so many families and parents to provide for their children. We had a debate last week in the Parliament where we talked about the impact of, or the social fallout of the mass employment that we continue to experience in the social sector, in the state sector, CPEP, URP, forestry, persons who would have been employed in the public service no longer being employed, and the continued unemployment that we are seeing, the lockdown and the closing down of bars and other businesses. That issue is real when you go out into the communities. Jason, I can tell you there are many parents who would have lost their jobs in the URP and the CPEP and some of those state programs. They cannot send their children to school. They cannot feed their children. They cannot provide their families with the appropriate support. It's not crime. Crime probably runs second. But we have a crisis in this society. And I fear that if this government does not put in place, as they have not so far, put in place the necessary measures to treat with the fallout, then we are going to see the implications of that 5 years from today. And it is not going to be like COVID. It is going to cause a lot of social instability because we have too many children cannot go to school because their parents simply cannot afford it.
Well, Member of Parliament Marvin Gonzalez touching base with us, former Minister of Public Utilities and Minister of National Security. I want to thank you for taking the time to spend a little bit of the morning with me and the Morning Brew family. And of course, we'll stay in touch, and let's stay on top of all the major developments.
Yeah, hopefully next week, Monday, if you have space, we can continue the conversation on crime and criminality in Trinidad and Tobago. There's so much more to be discussed as we come to the end of the state of emergency, and we're already seeing so many things happening and the concerns by members of the public. So make myself available for us to come in and talk about some of these matters and other associated matters. But I want to thank you very much for this opportunity.
You're most welcome. Marvin Gonzalez touching base with us on this Monday morning. We get ready for the 7 a.m. news update. Much more after 7. See you soon.
So judgmental, cause I just taking a walk, don't be so judgmental. Just leave my business and mind your own. Don't judge me cause I have no control of no girl who hold me tight and wind on me.
Period nights don't have to look like this. Move less, wake up to change. So change for a real night's sleep with Always Overnight. Its 3 times protection system absorbs, locks the fluid, and keeps it away from your skin. For protected nights without leaks. Always.
Carnival is here, and so are the opportunities to protect your financial future. Celebrate the sound, protect your money, build your wealth. The Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission presents Rhythms of Wealth. Just like every steel pan Madison panorama, every smart financial choice counts. This carnival, spot investment scams, make wise decisions, and protect your wealth, one beat at a time. Don't fall for those pressure tactics to join fast or be fooled by promises of guaranteed quick returns. If you've been scammed by a pyramid or Ponzi scheme, report it to the TTSEC. Visit ttsec.org.tt or email complaints@ttsec.org.tt. Play your part, keep your rhythm, secure your future. The Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. You invest, we protect, everyone benefits.
This is more than just music. This is where you find the best of TNT. This is more than just a vibe. This is where Bollywood gets a twist. This is more than just energy. This is Bhangra and indie pop too. This is the mix. This is the life. Lock on or log on now. Sangeet 106.1 FM. This is authentic East Indian radio. This is us.
Walter and I are very worried about you. Well, I just had to get away from all that chaos. By going back there to Sully's, it's a mistake. Then it's my mistake to make. I didn't believe it when I heard you were back.
That woman over there, she seems awful full of herself. You know her?
You might say that. How long you planning on staying this time?
Not sure, Dad.
Good morning, I'm Sonia Gray with Headline News on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. The Prime Minister is being warned about her tough talk at the end of the state of emergency, particularly her warning to gangs and recently released detainees that another crackdown could follow if high levels of crime return. Now, there is no time limit for when the Prime Minister can call another state of emergency. There only needs to be sufficient cause. But Senior Counsel Gregory Delson says the law does not allow a new state of emergency to be declared simply because criminals fail to behave.
In order to declare a state of emergency, you would have to say that actions have been threatened or are immediate, and those actions are of such a nature and so extensive a scale that they are likely to endanger the public safety.
It means then the state of emergency works through well-established mechanisms that we know, and if the threat of that exists, or could be brought back to bear, then the criminal element would more than likely think twice.
There's a call for citizens to turn online outrage into real action. It comes from Joshua Samru's aunt, who was speaking at a protest in Woodford Square, calling for accountability in the police-involved shooting that killed the 28-year-old and left his common-law wife, Kaya Seeley, paralyzed.
It have to end.
Don't have the wisdom now.
When will it end? We are out here. We should be more people, because look how much.
They just start out more.
Yes.
They just start.
Right? Because we just want the honest justice.
And after more than 7 hours at sea and in harbour, passengers on board the Trinidad and Tobago Spirit were finally able to dock in Tobago on Sunday afternoon. Works and Transport Minister Jerlene John says rough seas and strong winds made berthing difficult, and she directed Port Authority officials to allow the captain the time needed to dock safely. But one passenger says weather wasn't the only problem. He claims the vessel experienced technical difficulties after leaving Trinidad.
We were on this boat from 9:30 this morning until now. The boat broke down outside the ocean. We started, we come back in, and now we're here. It's 2 hours before we come up. And people are very frustrated here. They open their canteen and selling their food. Instead of giving something to eat, better go and buy food in the canteen.
But Minister John says the TNT Spirit docked in Tobago just after 4 p.m. and that caused the APT James to remain in open water while it had to wait to dock. Those were your 7 a.m. news headlines. We'll have another news update at 8 a.m. on the CBC Radio Network.
Visit Tire Clinic Marketing, New Truck and OTR Tire Service Center at number 30 and 32 Montrose Main Road, Chaguanas. Call today at 665-8973 or 672-3419. Alignment services available. Tire Clinic Marketing, Truck and OTR Service Center. A tire for every need. Visit Tire Clinic Marketing, New Truck and OTR Tire Service Center at number 30 and 32 Montrose Main Road, Chaguanas. Call today at 665-8973 or 672-3419. Alignment services available. Tire Clinic Marketing, Truck and OTR Service Center. A tire for every need.
It's simple mathematics, actually. We think that investment is extremely complicated, but it's not. It's really mathematical formulae managed in a way to make sure that you earn and you understand what you're earning, and that allows you to plan for the future. That's what we give our clients.
First Line Securities, helping Trinidad and Tobago invest for almost 2 decades. Invest with us.
Trinidad, the season of wins is here at Passat's The Food King and Bright Ideas. One season, many chances, big wins. From premium Leroy chocolates to Moet champagne and fine wine to booming sound systems, fully loaded coolers, and even 50-inch smart TVs. Here's how you can enter to win. For every $300 spent at Passat's The Food King or Bright Ideas, you receive 1 entry form, fill it out, and drop it in the entry box. Weekly Carnival Cooler Line draws every Saturday and 1 massive grand finale. The season of wins ends on February 26th and the Grand Carnival draw on Saturday, February 28th. Shop, enter, and win in the season of wins.
Quality value, that's our way. A real Passat, we're here to stay. The Food King Passats.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry. Premier insurance coverage for less.
Five minutes after 7 o'clock on this Monday. It's already the second month of 2026. Could you believe it's going to be Carnival literally in some days? To all those who already made the trip, those who just came in for Pan over the weekend, we say welcome. There are people who fly in. I met a lady on Saturday who came in from Miami for the Pan. Good morning to Susie. In for the Pan experience, and she's going to head back and then come back again. So I mean, it's tremendous. People coming in from far and wide. But again, let's treat with the issues of the day. We have open forum, and it's time to hear from you live. I think Chaguanas is on the line. Good morning, Chaguanas. Morning.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome. Morning.
Morning, Chuck.
Yes, man. Morning.
Morning, Jason.
Good morning. Welcome, Chagonas.
Thank you. Here's what just now I would like to touch on two topics this morning. First and foremost, where the Prime Minister would have said the two independent senators, right, should have made allegations. Now, we all know that we can't deal with things on allegations. We have to deal with things on proof, right? Because allegations could fly all over the place, but we need to get concrete evidence. So I think what the Prime Minister needs to do, right, I'm a bit disappointed in her, because I would have thought that if she would have said these things, she would have come straight out and bring it to the attention of the President, regardless of whatever she may think about the President, right? Bring it to the attention of the President that X and Y, they are requesting this and that and whatever the case or the other in return for voting with the government, right, on this bill, right? And she ought to bring some sort of concrete evidence as to which part it took place. If it don't have any email, if it don't have any voicemail or anything like that, but which part it took place, if there were any witnesses there or whatever the case is, right? Because these are serious allegations, right? And she ought to bring it to the attention of the President, right? Because he who alleged must prove. Understand what I'm saying, Jason?
Understood.
And regardless of whatever you may think about the senators that under the President, I mean, let me be real, right? And you need to be respectable also, right? And she ought to show some more leadership as for where that is concerned. She ought to show better behavior as for where that is concerned. Now, I am back in Kamala Posal Bisesa because I believe that she means well for the country. But all first in hand, right, still need work. Even Arsenal in the Premier League, they still need work, even though they're leading the Premier League. Understand what I'm saying? Right? So I think that she ought to come better with that. That's one. And the second thing I want to touch on is Mr. Govaro, right, the Commissioner of Police. Now, if you say neutral, and you add in sugar, you can't add salt either, right, because you're neutral. So for you to come out and make a statement, that, you know what, you see no reason to do this or do that. Remember, as a leader, especially of a paramilitary organization like the police service, you're setting examples, and based on your behavior and the things that you say, right, your charges, those who follow you, those who junior you, they will take pattern from that. So if it is that there is supposed to be an investigation, and there is supposed to be one, and there will be one, better you come out and say that, let the investigation reveal as to exactly what would have taken place, right? And then you will know how to move. You see, that is a more neutral statement. Understand what I'm saying, Jason?
Understood.
Understand what I'm saying? Right? So I just like to make those two statements, and I'm grateful to the fact that the young lady is out of hospital, all right? And I wish her all the best in whatever recovery that she may need to get, right? And I hope that justice comes about on this, because really and truly, Jason, there's no difference between this incident and the Pennywise in Laramine. Yeah. You remember the Pennywise in Laramine?
I do.
When them young fellas pull up on the security, they just start to spray them again. Yeah. Understand what I'm saying? Them security never had a chance. Understand what I'm saying? Right. So we need to take equal justice where everything is concerned.
Thank you, Shogunas. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jason. Take care.
Yeah, you're most welcome. And I mean, listen, in all fairness, myself and Shogunas, sometimes we go through our back and forth and our debates and our, every now and then it might get a bit passionate and heated, but I can safely tell you, for those who sometimes criticize him and say that he only sings the songs of the current administration, just like this morning, there are moments where he is very critical of their performance, and more so the Prime Minister, and you would have heard in real time him giving, an honest analysis. I actually, I really enjoy all my callers, but I have a special relationship with my friend there from Shogunas, and I want to thank you this morning for the commentary. Spot on this morning. And, we just calling for better, and ultimately, if you're on Trinidad and Tobago, we want the best for the country. Thanks, Shogunas. Let's head now to St. James, the city that never sleeps. Morning, St. James.
Hey, JW.
Morning, my brother.
Morning, bro. Morning to you and the team.
Yes.
So, trusting all is well. Brand new week. Coming closer into the carnival season.
Brand new month too. Brand new month.
Pardon?
Brand new month also. Brand new week and brand new month.
Brand new month. Yeah, man. Brand new month. So it's positive vibes all around.
Yeah.
Couple brief points. Just to briefly go back to Tuesday's episode with the police and youth segment. You were having a conversation with the officer, and in the midst of it, discussions about the upcoming carnival season, and just a light moment where, as we would have seen in the past, sometimes, women, in the celebration of the moment, they probably take the opportunity to celebrate with officers while they're on the road Monday and Tuesday. And gently, the officer would have mentioned, well, we kind of prefer do that for a couple understandable reasons. And as a fan of the show, I must admit, I was pleasantly surprised you identified that moment as a moment where you could contribute towards country safety and progression by stepping up to the plate and saying, well, ladies, on this particular moment, the officers may not be able to facilitate you, but I will take one for the country and step up and celebrate with all you. So that was real nice to see, bro. And, so it's all about a positive vibe. And, to transfer from that into the second point, we recently came out to the energy conference, right? I really enjoy hearing Professor Hussein from the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine. So whenever he have the time and you'll reach out, or any professional, just to hear more about how, because we know Trinidad and Tobago has been heavily oil and gas, and the world is transferring from oil and gas to renewable energy. So just to hear a little bit more about how Trinidad could make that gradual transition to a renewable energy, cleaner energy. Even the conversations you have with Dr. LeBlanc too, who mentioned about healthy habits, one thing we really can't control is the exhaust from vehicles through the city. That could really play a part into our health breathing in those areas, right? And my final contribution is in the Ministry of Education. Hopefully, developments are being made to continue to inspire our youth to study and reach for their best academically or sports-wise, because the truth of the matter is the students who in school today will become, integral in the economy and society tomorrow. So
for sure,
we need to look at them. So thanks for the opportunity and keep up the great work.
All the best, St. James. Yes, as you mentioned, officers women who look to treat with the officers, we'll accept one for the team, bring the wine and come. Yeah, man. Let's start to Tabakit. Good morning, Tabakit.
Pleasant morning to you, Mr. Jason Williams.
Yes, Tabakit, morning to you. Welcome, I'm listening.
Right. Now, I listened to the interview with the Honorable Minister Marvin Gonzalez.
Yes.
Let me say this. I am for people protesting and their rights. But something I want to remind the former National Security Minister. When it had a movement, the pushback movement within the Rowley administration from 2015 to 2025, they were sending police to tear gas people and beat them and lock them up. When the police came there and the riot squad, in fairness to the police, they stand up and they stand back. And next time you have the Honorable MP, Marvin Gonzalez, I would like you to ask him, within his tenure and under the Rowley administration, he as National Security Minister, when they would have given the directive, when they had the pushback all by the Savannah, all there is tear gas, is lock up. And you cannot be disingenuous. Again, Mr. Williams, I am not saying not to protest. No. This has nothing to do with the protesters. But when a former minister who then gave the directive to the commissioner of police to tear gas, to lock up, I am saying this morning, the former Minister of National Security, Marvin Gonzalez, is disingenuous, and he's a hypocrite to the high order. You wanted to ask me something?
No, and you made a good point there, Tabakit, and actually it's one I'm going to definitely bring forward. But if I recall, remember Marvin Gonzalez would have, as we say in the Trinidad and Tobago parlance, he got a kubo sweat in terms of that ministry. You know, he kind of, in all honesty, I think would have had like about a month or two towards the end of his tenure. I think the man I really need to ask that question to would be Mr. Fitzgerald Hines, because I think he was National Security Minister. Because yes, I'm glad you reminded me. Sometimes out of sight, out of mind, because there was that unfortunate circumstance by the Savannah. I remember, and all children get a gas.
Let me say this. I'm glad you would have gone there.
Yeah.
Now, even though he got a cover sweat, he would have been in the parliament with his colleague. Why he then there didn't say, don't do that. Do not send the police. Do not send the riot squad. Do not tear gas. He didn't do that. But this morning, you come in here because you got a microphone in your mouth and you have the opportunity and you're playing politics. Mr. Williams, again, let me repeat. I am not saying no, the protesters is not them. But when you have the politicians getting involved in that, there's where it becomes dangerous. Marvin Gonzalez is disingenuous. He didn't tell Fitzgerald Hines when he got his cover sweat, don't send the riot squad to tear gas the people, and they lock them up. Thank you, Tabakit out and out.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Tabakit. You know, honestly, Tabakit, thanks for that genuine reminder. Sometimes it's not like you forget these things, but obviously that was a most unfortunate circumstance. I remember that incident like it was yesterday, as you mentioned at Tabakit, where officers went by the Queen's Park Savannah. People were protesting. I think it was around that COVID time, if I'm not mistaken, and all children get tear gas. It was unfortunate. And again, we ask officers. We always talk about reason and proportional. In terms of action, then. And to me, you look at a crowd. If they're not unruly, if they're not really causing that kind of disturbance, there's no need to go down that road, and it's one that leaves a really bitter taste in people's mouths. So yes, Tabaki, thanks for that reminder. And indeed, when I have another conversation, which I suspect will be sometime soon, that's a particular point I could definitely bring to the table and hear what the response is from, whether it's the MP or anyone on the opposition side. Thanks a lot, Tabakit, for that reminder. Let's get ready. We take the pause. We get ready in terms of conversations. Two more major conversations inside the hour. The MSJ political leader will join me next, David Abdullah. All right. And later on, we touch base with the president of the National Primary Schools Principals Association. So two major conversations before a performance towards the end. Up next, David Abdullah. He joins me.
We bring it, we don't party with limits. Once it's so can we with it, till we come with some bacchanal rum, we kill it.
Stomach discomfort again? Bloating, cramps, irregular bathroom habits? Meet Vivera, your daily support for a balanced gut. Vivera works fast to help reduce the abdominal pain, ease bloating, and support healthy digestion. It helps restore balance to your gut so you can get back to feeling light, comfortable, and in control. Choose for real digestive relief, safe, effective, and trusted for both children and adults. Now available at pharmacies nationwide. Vivera, feel the difference.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Thank you for celebrating all special moments with us. For exclusive offers, call us at 701-6488, 701-6680, or 775-9191, or visit our website to order.
You ever take a drink from somebody you already don't know? Well, some free drinks could come with a very heavy price. And this year, we're not thirsty for trouble. So choose to keep an eye on your drink. And if you didn't pour it, don't drink it. Don't drink from nobody, baby. Cause this year we're making better choices. Oh, Lord, for a safer carnival.
For me, people matter most. It's the same if you hail from Moruga, where I'm from, Mount Irvin, Scarborough, or Port of Spain. As a journalist, I'm focused on building that connection between Trinidad, the region, and the world. Most importantly, I want always to use my voice as a powerful weapon to break down barriers wherever they exist. This is why we are where you are.
Everybody know what our behavior. From July, reach in Grenada. I get a flight, but I don't get accommodation. So find me all over the nation, making a whole set of
Job decisions. Oh my goodness, beautiful music out of Grenada. I love the Spice Island. Good morning to all my friends from Grenada. It's a place that is so special to me, and you know, we appreciate the contribution of their singers, their performers. They really add truly tremendous value to the not only Trinidad and Tobago Carnival experience, but the global Carnival experience. Good morning to Sweet Spice Isle, Grenada this morning. Let's head back home to a very important situation. Of course, the police involved shooting and the response to the protests we would have seen yesterday. I want to get some perspective from the political leader of the MSJ, Movement for Social Justice, David Abdullah. He joins me on the Zoom line. Mr. Abdullah, good morning to you. Thanks for the time.
Morning, JW, and to all of your viewers. Thanks for having me this morning.
Mr. Abdullah, I want to take you back to yesterday, obliquely opposite the Parliament, where many would have gone out to express themselves their disappointment with the shooting, the police-involved shooting and the killing of Joshua Samaru and the very severe injury to his partner. We're looking at them on screen, and you know, it was one, despite all the festivities and the excitement that is Carnival, there are many who are very passionate about this particular development. It's something that unfortunately we have seen time and time again. It's nothing new to the Trinidad and Tobago experience, but this time around it feels a bit different, and I guess it's one too many. And people really want transparency. They want these body cams to be used so we can get the real picture. And I would imagine a different kind of language from those in the roles of leadership. Before we get to that, let me just ask, yesterday's deployment, the calling out of the riot squad, was that proportional? Was that necessary? Just take me to your perspective on yesterday's activity outside the Parliament.
Yes, thanks, JW. You know, I've organized or been part of very many demonstrations in this country over a long period of time. In that deployment of the riot squad was totally unnecessary and really was unacceptable. You know, here you had, you know, I'm not sure exact number, maybe 50, between 60, 70, I'm not sure exact number of persons who were peacefully, you know, opposite the Parliament. They were on the Woodford Square side, they were on the pavement. There were some senior officers in khaki who were on the scene, and therefore, you know, they would have observed what was happening. I don't know who called out, and, you know, we need to get a statement from the TTPS, who called out the riot squad for, there was no riot, there was no act of violence. People had placards. It was a Sunday afternoon. There was no sitting of Parliament. The street was absolutely clear. You know, people weren't, anybody downtown Port of Spain might have been walking up to the Savannah for Panorama semifinals. So there was absolutely no requirement or need to call out the riot squad. That was an unnecessary provocation. It was almost as if the police were trying to provoke an incident. It was terrible.
Yeah, it was very, very, very unfortunate. And obviously we're looking at the footage there on screen. But more so, let's take it to the response of the top cop, the commissioner, his initial utterance and the, I would imagine, the fallout from that particular development, with no investigation really being forthwith. Obviously, this will and must get a thorough investigation, and I hope it's done in a timely manner, and it's done from through the lens of transparency so that we could really know what transpired. Your take on the commissioner's utterance and his general demeanor on this most unfortunate circumstance?
Yeah, sure. And I should just say that, if I had a webinar out of the United States yesterday at 1 o'clock, otherwise I would have been probably outside Woodford Square myself yesterday. When I was heading to the Savannah for Panorama, I did stop on Abercrombie Street, and one of the organizers, Miss Alyssa Phillip, was present, and I did chat with her. There were a number of other persons still there at about 4 o'clock, So I want to congratulate them for what they did to raise this issue in the public domain, because the young lady who is injured as a result of the police, shooting at that vehicle and killing Joshua Samaru, was a school friend of theirs. They all went to Bishop Anstey Secondary School, so they knew each other from, just preteen days. So I want to congratulate them for standing up and publicly speaking out. Coming to your question about the Commissioner of Police, and I have a press report in front of me from his voice notes. I just want to quote it just to remind people exactly what he said. And he said, quote, "The occupants, instead of choosing to surrender, instead chose to challenge my officers. And acting in accordance with the use of force policy, my officers responded likewise. After an exchange of gunfire, 2 individuals were found nursing gunshot injuries and were taken for medical treatment." It goes on to a little bit further, but that is really the crucial part of the Commissioner of Police's statement. And the video evidence that surfaced subsequently showed that that was not the case. Mr. Samaru had his arms outstretched up in the air outside the car window, so he was surrendering. He was not choosing to engage the police officers. There was no exchange of gunfire at that time. The only gunfire came from the police officers. And Mr. Samaru was shot not once, but 19 times. So that statement by the Commissioner of Police, I think, is what certainly angered many people. And the problem with that, and you're right, and as I said at my press conference yesterday, while the police, he said that a senior officer, First Division officer, would be investigating this incident. The problem is that he already spoke on the matter and therefore has tainted the investigation. Unless he decides to withdraw totally his statement and say he was wrong, that investigation is tainted by the commander of the TTPS. So how is a First Division officer now going to engage in an investigation which is going to show something totally contrary to what his commander-in-chief has said? Now, the other part about it is that he spoke about incidents, well, the car chase and stuff that happened before. The fact of the matter is that you cannot take into consideration what happened before to deal with the moment when Mr. Samaru was clearly surrendering. At that moment, there was no need for any excessive force. He should have been ordered out of the vehicle. He could have been tasered, handcuffed, whatever, and whatever investigation that was required in terms of why was this car chase taking place would then have happened. But what took place before is no justification for the shooting by the police of Mr. Samaru, who clearly surrendered.
Mr. Abdullah, is this a critical moment? Because I find myself at another crossroad, because we have seen this before, and I go back to so many different incidents of police-involved shooting, or folks who are supposed to answer questions would have died in police custody. Recall the man who fell off the chair some years ago on that particular incident. People are asking for the commissioner to step aside. They're saying he must go. I think we might quick have to shovel snow out of our garage in Trinidad before we see anyone in a leadership position actually step down. But is this particular development, does it warrant any kind of serious disciplinary action like that? Is this enough to really force the hand of whoever to ask the commissioner to step aside? Could that be a possibility based on this particular development, even though the investigation is ongoing?
Yes, and interestingly, yesterday the media reported that 8 police officers are now going to stand trial after a sufficiency hearing that took place on Friday for murder of 3 men in Morvan in 2020. Remember that incident? That provoked a lot of protests too in East Port of Spain. And there have been other incidents of police-involved killing. And the Guardian actually had a very interesting and important article in yesterday's newspaper, which said that during states of emergency, the number of police killings actually rise. And that's very disturbing. It confirms what Dr. Maziki Tame said on our Tuesday talk, which you carried excellently on a Morning Brew a week and a half ago. And she said that under the Zoso arrangements in Jamaica, while the numbers of murders have come down, that has been proportionate to the number of police killings going up. So it's very important for the senior officers in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service to send the right message. And the Commissioner of Police, therefore, has to, as you yourself said in your opening this morning, and we said, he has to take some steps backward and not engage in this kind of gung-ho style of policing, because that can lead to more police killings which are unjustified. Now, there are obviously instances where the police have killed persons which are completely justified. I'm not suggesting that everyone is unjustified. That's not so. But the Police Service Commission now is the body that interfaces with the Commissioner of Police and the Deputy Commissioners in terms of their performance and any issues with respect to discipline and so on. I certainly think the Police Service Commission needs to call in the Commissioner and the Deputy Commissioners and speak with them and say, this is not the way to go. Now, unfortunately, JW, what has also happened is the Prime Minister in a statement on Saturday, which was reported in the media yesterday, has almost given carte blanche to the police to deal with persons in a particular way, because she used words such as, brutality and terrorize. I'm going to, quoting the Prime Minister, she said, I'm going to terrorize the families of anybody who's involved in criminal activity, and we're going to act brutally. Now, of course, the Prime Minister can't do that. No civilian can, no government minister can. The persons who are entrusted with responsibility for law enforcement and to engage with criminals and so on is the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. So, in a sense, what she has done now is to give police officers the signal that if they were to engage in brutality or terrorizing, which is illegal, then her government will stand by them.
But in all fairness, Mr. Abdullah, and I want you to continue and elaborate, but I guess the Prime Minister's language, I'm sure it's coming from a place of a collective frustration from the citizenry, because we would have been on the receiving end of that level of terrorism and brutality by the hands of the criminal. So I would imagine the language now, it's a different language. We even heard that from the Commissioner a couple of times. This is apart from this unfortunate scenario with Joshua, we're hearing a kind of different tone now, and I wonder if it's more or less a signal to the criminal element that, you know what, it's a different time here now, it's a different reality, and we are the ones now, we want you, the criminals, to be on the side of fear as opposed to now us, the citizens. I wonder if it's just a language scenario and really a different push really to instill fear to the criminals as opposed to us, the law-abiding citizens.
Yes, and I hear that, and so statements can be made that would suggest that both the government is standing firm on the issue of crime and violence and will implement policies to get after the criminals. That is important, and the police service has to show that they are standing firm as well and strong and will not, puppy show any criminal. So that is important. But on the other hand, you cannot successfully deal with crime and violence by trying to suppress it or repress it. Those things in the long term never work. In fact, they lead to conditions which will result in more crime and violence later on. And so things like the state of emergency, and I'm not a criminologist, but many have commented on that. It's really crime suppression. The zones of special operations was a strategy of crime suppression, not crime solution. And what we need to hear from the government, apart from saying that they would implement policies to give the police all the support that the police need in order to deal with the criminal element, that has to be done. I have no difficulty that the police need all the resources required to deal with the criminal element, but the police also have to step up their game. So again, good reporting by the media. Some 151 persons were charged, or not charged, were detained under the state of emergency regulations. 117 of them are to be released. The commissioner did say that some 16, I think, are to be charged or have been arrested and will be charged, and some others may be charged. But we really need to know what are the specific things that the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is doing in terms of intelligence and getting evidence to get the persons who are involved in violent crimes behind bars, charged, brought before the courts with evidence, and found guilty. That is necessary. And there's just one other, I know time is tight. The Minister of Homeland Security also, has to watch his words, because words matter. So when he said that, we need laws to deal with people putting up stuff on social media, that is wrong. If people in the United States, for example, didn't put up videos and photographs of the young lady who was killed by the ICE officers, Miss Good, in her car, or the young man who was shot in the back of his head and then shot another 9 times, probably half dead on the ground by ICE officers, Mr. Petrie, then the world would never have known. Similarly, if that video didn't surface, then the Commissioner of Police's story would have been the only story out there, that there was an exchange of gunfire and so on, and that Mr. Samuel did not surrender. So we cannot look to suppress information, and that comes back to what you're saying about the necessity for body cameras being worn. Well, Mr. Abdullah, I guess we will definitely continue this conversation at a future date. Let me again thank you for coming on this morning, and we will touch base soon. All the best. Enjoy the rest of the week. Thanks for having me. Take care. All right, the political leader there of the MSJ touching base with us. As promised, we get into a very important conversation with the president of the National Primary Schools Principals Association. What you call that? That's NAPSPA? Right. The president of NAPSPA with us next. Slow down, time it. I love you, I see in front of me.
Trinidad, the season of wins is here at Passat's The Food King and Bright Ideas. One season, many chances, big wins. From premium Leroy chocolates to Moet champagne and fine wine to booming sound systems, fully loaded coolers, and even 50-inch smart TVs. Here's how you can enter to win. For every $300 spent at Passat's The Food King or Bright Ideas, you receive one entry form, fill it out, and drop it in the entry box. Weekly Carnival Cooler Line draws every Saturday and one massive grand finale. The season of wins ends on February 26th and the Grand Carnival draw on Saturday, February 28th. Shop, enter, and win in the season of wins. Push on! Quality value, that's our way. A real push, that's we're here to stay. The Food King. Push on!
Attention all listeners, are you ready for the ultimate news experience? Introducing the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, the nation's first and most subscribed newspaper. We deliver where others can't. With the widest delivery network in TNT, you can have the Guardian delivered right to your doorstep or office every single day. Take advantage of our special annual subscription offer so you can stay on top of the leading stories even when you're on the go. Sign up today. Time is running out. Inquire about our 3-month and 6-month packages as well.
This is the time I get together as one. Bring your presents so we all will have fun. The gift of
We welcome the president of the National Primary Schools Principals Association, Ms. Colleen Hayes. She joins us on the Zoom line. Good morning to you, Ms. Hayes. Great to have you with us on this Monday morning. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Jason. And good morning to you and good morning to the viewing public.
Indeed, and let's get into the very important conversation. We know that there are a couple of operational challenges happening right now at the primary schools. Let's start with the BOAs, or as we would have known back in the day. I know them as the secretary. You go in the office and they're the ones that will treat with the calls and recommendations. You name it, they do the heavy lifting. We know that there are some challenges with the contracts at this point in time for the BOAs. They are the business operations assistant, and it's kind of putting extra work on the shoulder of the principals and those who are part of the school ecosystem. What's the latest in that regard via the contracts for the BOAs, or as we said back in the day, the secretary there in the office?
Okay, so great. Basically what's happening is that we have approximately 315 BOAs out of a job. And they have been out of a job, some ranging, depending on when their contract ended. Basically, it started in June, some July, but the majority of them were definitely the ending of October, early November. At that point in time, NAPSPA would have asked through its union, tutor, for assistance in ensuring that these contracts are renewed. Every 3 years, Jason, we go through this. Every 3 years, there's a level of uncertainty when the contracts will be renewed and exactly when they will start back. Now, we started speaking to the different stakeholders asking for assistance. And we were assured, principals were assured, that it will take about 2 weeks for all the contracts to be renewed. This was at the beginning of November. We are heading into February, week 5 of term 2, and we don't have BOAs in our schools. We have a very few, limited amount, and their contracts are going to be ending very soon as well. By April, May, their contracts will end. So we are really under a lot of stress. We have things like the annual statistical return to do, and exactly what you're saying, calls to be made. We have daily reports. We have different activities that we are called upon to ensure that we do. Emails come at us daily, and we have no support.
So President Hayes,
and it's really tough.
President Hayes, in the absence of the BOAs, who's taken up the slack?
Well, basically the principal. Basically, we have, and I want to thank some schools, not much, but some schools, the OJT program has assisted in terms of a clerical assistant. But that person, of course, they're new. They have to be guided by someone. So usually if you have someone like that, you have a BOA to assist in guidance, but that's not happening. So we have been trying and managing as best as we can, but it is very stressful. It's very, very stressful.
I can only imagine. Keep us posted with the developments in that regard. Let's move on to well, I would imagine there are concerns I'm seeing here regarding the first-year infant registration. They call it first. What are some of the concerns?
Yes. Okay, so last year, the Ministry of Education would have launched FIRST. So it's the first-year infant online registration program. Now, basically what happened is that no more paper applications were done in primary schools for first-year infants. All parents and guardians had to interact with the FIRST online registration program. And there were a lot of hiccups. There were a lot of concerns, which we raised because by the end of June, when persons should have known what schools their children got into for first year, it didn't happen. And then the burden went to the school supervisors in the different districts. They had to now find spaces for these children who were not registered. Issues such as parents who don't have internet access, parents who have no idea how to create an email address on the system. Parents also were not guided accordingly because they had no idea when they registered. They had to go back into the system to see if they got accepted. But some parents got accepted in more than one school. So what happened is that they just clicked the first school and then they were locked out of the system. So they were not able. So basically, if I got into school A, B, and C, but I really wanted to go to school C, I clicked A, thinking I could click all three as a parent. But after I clicked A, couldn't get in. And therefore, we had a lot of issues of people being in schools that they really didn't want to go. They just applied because the ministry would have given them a choice of 5 schools. And because of that, they just chose schools. And now we had a situation where persons were in schools, they couldn't get transportation to that particular school. They really wanted school C, and it was a lot of issues had to be solved at the district level. We have asked the Ministry of Education for us to go back to our paper pen applications. Let parents come to schools and apply. They had a choice of 3 schools to apply for. Let them do that and let us work from there. We are seeing a growing concern that a lot of things are trying to be managed at head office. We are on the ground and we are seeing what is happening.
In real time.
Our Trinidad and Tobago, our nation, was not ready for that online registration. It worked in some schools, Jason, don't get me wrong. Some schools it worked beautifully. But let's look at it. Look at the rural schools. The digital divide really happened last year.
Well, President Hayes, let's make a commitment this morning to continue this conversation. Time is of the essence, so we'll have to run. Okay. But really quick, in the seconds that remain, where can one go to read up or at least see in real time your correspondence with some of the concerns? Is there a place we could go online to get more from the NAPSA?
Yes, I have a page, Colleen Hayes, and I'm the president of NAPSPA, as well as we have sent it out there to our membership so members know. But we could spread the word because there are many concerns. Like I said, the transfer process is coming up as well. That's a big issue. Schools are really upset over the situation. Sometimes people are waiting months for transfers. So we really need to get these concerns out there. We really need for persons to assist in dealing with it.
Well, President, I want to thank you, and I definitely will make that commitment to continue this conversation in the weeks ahead. All the best, President Hayes, and thanks for touching base this morning.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me. Have a great day, Jason, and everyone.
Same to you. That's the president of NAPSPA, National, let me get the name here correct, huh? It's the National Primary Schools Principals Association, NAPSPA. A very important conversation. We take the pause and we come back with a performance. That's right, to wrap things up from Kimmy. Kimmy's in the building with action to take us out in style. We transition to Carnival Brew next.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Thank you for celebrating all special moments with us. For exclusive offers, call us at 701-6488, 701-6680, or 775-9191, or visit our website to order.
Slam on 00.5 FM in collaboration with Flavor Village presents the Iceland Festival finale this Wednesday, 4th February. We're moving off the avenue and into the Flavor Village at the Queen's Park Savannah. One night, 4 flavors of soca, 6 hours of music from 6 p.m. to midnight, including Young Brother, Lady Lava, Nadia Batson, Boys, Freetown Collective, plus many other surprises. No invitation necessary. Free entry. No coolers allowed. Experience Rude Boy 2-for-1 specials and drink Rude officially.
It's getting hotter this summer on the new season of Celebrity Family Feud. Your favorite celebrities are coming to play. It's Ice-T, the Diesel, Charles Barkley, Chris Paul, everybody, Golden State point guard. Praise the Battery team. We got them right now, so let's get it up. Something you do if your neighbor spend every day doing nude yoga in his backyard?
Invite friends over to watch.
Okay, let me see you, Cherry Hill. Yeah, now take it back. Let me see you rock off, shake off. Let me see you rock off. Let me see you kick right. Now step forward, now step back.
Lucozade, bring the energy. Unbeatable taste, new look.
Shake off, let me see you rock off. She love the roti, she love the choca, She love the bygone.
You ever jump in a car after a fete knowing that the driver more tipsy than you? Yeah, you make it home, but not everybody lucky like you. No, we're not taking that chance in Carnival 2026, alright? We're making better choices. Choose a designated driver or book a ride. Remember, better choices, safer Carnival. I could pick mango, I could pick guava, I could pick tamarind. We're making better choices, so designate a driver. Follow!
Roti, she love the joker, she love the bygone.
Well, yo, this is your boy Ricky J. You ever late for the fete so you mash down on the X? Speeding come like normal until you realize how fast things can go wrong. So this carnival, we on a slower scene. Choose to slow down and obey the speed limit. Better choices, safer carnival. I, Ricky J, say so. Don't spoil my name, don't spoil my name. Son, I'm telling you plain. Don't spoil my name, don't spoil my name. I'm telling you again and again. I'm telling you again and again. This carnival, slow down.
Don't spoil my name. Son, I'm telling you plain. Don't spoil my name, don't spoil my name.
Slam on 00.5 FM in collaboration with Flavor Village presents the Iceland Festival Finale. This Wednesday, 4th February, we're moving off the avenue and into the Flavor Village at the Queen's Park Savannah. One night, 4 flavors of soca, 6 hours of music from 6 p.m. to midnight, including Young Brother, Lady Lava, Nadia Batson, Boys, Freetown Collective, plus many other surprises. No invitation necessary. Free entry. No coolers allowed. Experience Rude Boy 2-for-1 specials and drink Rude officially.
The carnival season is in full swing, and CNC3 is your home for all the energy, the music, and the highlights. Mondays, celebrate the legends with carnival icons at 8 p.m. Then laugh along with Celebrity Family Feud at 8:30 p.m. Tuesdays, indulge in carnival cravings at 8 p.m., followed by Manhood at 8:30 p.m. Wednesdays, get your dose of heartfelt drama with Sullivan's Crossing at 8 p.m. Thursdays, get answers on Ask the Doctor at 8 p.m. Then, more laughs with Celebrity Family Feud at 9 p.m. Fridays, kick off the weekend with the Party Start at 8 p.m. Then, satisfy your carnival cravings at 8:30 p.m. Saturdays, the iconic Westwood Park returns at 7:30 p.m. And Sundays, don't miss the big interview at 7:30 p.m., followed by the telenovela Cabo at 8 p.m. This carnival, prime time on CNC3.
Darling, you're too sweet, like a spoon up your honey. Oh gosh, I need your company. If it's not you, it's nobody.
Like from now right into Carnival, into that Carnival Friday, every single day we're going to bring a little taste, a little flavor inside what we call the Carnival Brew, and we want to welcome from Urupun, East Side, Kimmy is in the building for the action.
Morning.
Manners and respect, brother. Happy Carnival.
All the time.
Kimmy, how long you been doing it, and more so, walk me through the early part of it, your career, as you step from then to now.
So I guess since 2018 we've been recording music.
Excellent.
Been recording professionally and releasing, and within a span of time we get songs like Pray with Pretty and I.
Yeah,
we had Pray. We do some reggae in between.
Excellent.
We dabbled in the soca before, but not this serious.
Yeah.
So this is actually like the first year, probably like in 4 years I actually done soca.
Excellent. And you write your material.
Yeah.
Do you also dabble with the production?
We'll record myself, but not mixing and send it out.
And you more lean towards the groovers, or you want to tackle power and stuff eventually?
Yeah, eventually I want to get into everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Excellent, man. Well, we're going to get a chance to take in the action, and that's the song. But before we do that, how can folks find you, Kimmy, and how can they book you for the carnival and beyond?
On all platforms, on all social media platforms, you can get me at 238 Kimmy, K-I-M-I.
Yeah? Yeah. And I guess the bookings will be inside there too.
Yeah, for sure.
What's the significance, such an interesting name? Kimmy, is that the actual name? Is that a shortened version of your name, or that's the sobriquet?
That's my sobriquet. Yeah. Yeah, it's a shortened version of Shakim.
All right, yes. Yeah. So yes. So it's like Kimmy.
Yeah.
I love it, man. Well, I have the mic here now. Oh, you mean it's time for the action? Right, Right, sir, this is yours. Kimmy's in the building to take us out in style. Enjoy the performance, enjoy the music, and find it on all platforms. Remember, Kimmy, action for 2026 and beyond. Let's go.
Morning, Brew. Let's go.
Darling, you're too sweet, like a spoon of pure honey. Oh gosh, I need your company. If it's not you, it's nobody. Cause I could jam on you all day, jam on you all day. Take a look back now, baby, you don't have to be shy. This feel like the old days, I'm touching my soul. When you're pushing it back there, baby, you don't have to be shy. Cause tonight is action in the people place. Action. When you roll your waist right on me, baby, you don't have to be shy. Cause tonight is action in the people place. Action. When you roll your waist back on me, baby, you don't have to be shy. Yeah, man. Like you really come here to tease me. Aye. On the road doing as you please. So watch that. Tell a lie, I might just believe it. Watch out, I'm on grip in the jeans. They say seeing is believing. I can't believe it. Just what take you down. And it's like your body's speaking. Can't fight this feeling. Don't take my hand so strong. Cause I could jam on you all day. I could jam on you all day. Take a look back now, baby. You don't have to be shy. This feel like the old days. You're touching my soul. When you're pushing it back there, baby, you don't have to be shy. Cause tonight is action in the people place. Action when you roll your waist right on me, baby, you don't have to be shy. Cause tonight is action in the people place. Action when you roll your waist back on me, baby, you don't have to be shy. They could say I ain't my feelings. Once I feel a bumper on me, don't leave it. You give me the wine that I need it. Just when you push back on there, cause I could jam on you all day. I could jam on you all day. Take a look back now, baby, you don't have to be shy. This feel like the old days. You're touching my soul. When you're pushing it back there, baby, you don't have to be shy. So when I hold you tonight is thunder, giving you thunder, pushing back on me, baby, you don't have to be shy. Come when I hold you tonight is thunder, giving you thunder, push it back on me, baby, you don't have to be shy. Cause tonight is action, the people place action. When you roll your waist right on me, baby, you don't have to be shy. Cause tonight is action, the people place action. When you roll your waist back on me, baby, you don't have to be shy. Jam on you all day, jam on you all day. Take a look back now, baby, you don't have to be shy.
Ooh, that is groove, boy.
Yeah, man.
Tune hard, you know. Give me
appreciate that.
action. Again, give me all the socials and how we going to find you.
On all social media platforms, 238 KIMI. 238 KIMI.
Man, amazing, boy. That's a fantastic jam. And let me tell you something about soca music and music on a whole.
Yeah.
There's no expiry date.
No.
So even if people for some reason now log on and catch it a bit late, I want you. This is a fantastic song. Continue
Appreciate that.
campaigning, pushing it, and it's one that we could definitely enjoy for years to come. That is groove. That is groove. Give me happy carnival, bro.
Give thanks.
Respect and manners. With that, we're gonna wrap things up, pull the curtains down, and give me another leave, man. Let me lie, man. Yeah, man. Don't ride out yet, man. Let me close everything nice.
Right,
by all means, tomorrow, God's May, I'm back for more. We continue with performances right up until Carnival Friday inside what we we call the Carnival Brew. Great program. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be safe, TNT. Godspeed. I'm back for more tomorrow. Action! Let's play, man. Let's play it again. Play that tune again, man. Oh, good.
The Morning Brew is brought to you by Omega XL. Live long, stay strong.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program are not necessarily those of CNC3.